have called for the 2014 confab report to be brought for them to legislate on it. So it's not a difficult process as people make us believe it is. All you need to do is, even if you don't want to implement the entire confab report, if you say it's going to be humongous, it's going to take time, we don't have more time, it's going to affect the election preparations, then take the ones that are critical. The Southeasterners are very restive.
So just a moment now, then what would you say, which ones would you say are the most critical ones? Because for a number of people, they also believe that there's no way you can do this without talking about financial autonomy.
Fine. We're talking about financial autonomy. We're talking about local government that are virtually dead. We're talking about educational systems suffering. We're talking about health suffering. And we're saying there's too much power at the center. Let some of it be devolved to the states and local government so that there can be efficiency on the ground, so that infrastructure can be addressed. Many roads are not being handled because they are termed, in quote, federal roads. When will the federal government be able to address all the nooks and crannies? Take those things out of the exclusive legislative list and take them into the concurrent list. Let the states have state police so that security will be a grassroots thing. It will become difficult for people to kidnap.
But the party at the center argues that some of these things, yes, they are well and good, and they'll be fine and good on the long term and on the long run. But right now, those are not the immediate needs of the country. They met a country which was entering economic recession and finally entered the recession during their administration, and they believe that well, I understand that we have to take a moment right now. I will come back and finish that question and have you give your response to it in just a moment. Please stay with us.
You're welcome.
Mr. Isaac Anumudu, a legal practitioner, is still with us in the studio. Just before we went on that break, I was telling you that the current government at the center believes that is not the immediate priority for Nigerians. For a country that entered economic recession under their watch, they believe that the primary thing is to get people fed and give people jobs. Do you agree with that? With all
due respect, that opinion is very insincere. First of all, let's get the narrative right. It is the present administration that led Nigeria into recession and not otherwise. When this government came into power, the dollar was selling below 200. It got to 500 under this administration.
But we can debate on that.
And all of that. And that was because of policies that were put in place that should not have been put in place. So let's not even go that way.
So let us admit without, let us say that is the situation.
Yes.
The truth of the matter is that the country is in a recession.
Yes, and the country is in recession not because of these calls. It is in order to avoid the recession that this cause must be addressed, because just like Erufai said in August 2010, that the present structure that leads to simply sharing money to the states is making the states lazy and unproductive. Until the states are productive, there will be no coming out of this recession. So for you to make the states productive, get everybody on board, get everybody feel like a Nigerian, feel committed to maximum productivity, and take away the sharing culture. That is what restructuring is all about. And what must be done quickly to answer your question in order to deal with this situation is, even if you think you cannot handle the entire 2014 confab report at a go, there are critical ones. Of course, what is making the Southeasterners feel marginalized, feel shortchanged, is because the 3 R's after the Civil War, reconstruction, reconciliation, reintegration, has not been carried out. And that Southeastern zone is the only zone that still has 5 states, when other regions have 6 each. So since that report talks about creation of states, if it has become clear that the 18 or 19 states suggested they are not viable anymore because of present economy, why not just give the Southeasterners the one state that is outstanding, which everyone has agreed is an injustice that can be corrected? When you do that, and then people from Lagos are saying, why would Lagos have only 20-something local government with the humongous money they produce through VAT, and being even an oil-producing state now, you give local government one of the reasons are basis for sharing national resources. And Lagos brings all that money to the national purse, but you give more to Kano because Kano has 47 local governments. Is it about the money you bring to the table or the population in your state? That's what I'm saying. So you use issue about, even if you come to population, Lagos and Kano are about the same population. But why would Kano be getting more based on having more local government, almost double the size of local government that Lagos has? So people who are talking about this are referring to these incidences as injustices that have been foisted on us via the existing constitution that needs to be quickly amended. So let's even take these 2 examples. By the time you deal with additional state for the Southeast, deal with taking away local government and as a basis for revenue sharing, you would already start dissuading some of the agitations. There will be some measure of calm. Election is coming. From next year, we're talking about election. In this state of crisis, is that the kind of environment you want to organize a volatile thing like election. So these people who are calling on the federal government to take immediate action are doing so in good faith, and let nobody use politics to discourage that. Unfortunately, we have the president, the acting president. They've shown themselves to people who mean well. Let the acting president, who is a lawyer, who understands the law, use the instrumentality of the law. He is referring to Section 2, which talks about Nigeria being united and indissoluble. But he should remember Section 14, Subsection 3, which talks about, every part of the country being treated in such a way that none of them will feel isolated. So for you to do this thing, there must be sincerity. It is that lack of sincerity that is bringing the executive legislative feud, where you see the executive deciding to pick and choose which law, which resolution of the National Assembly to take and not to take, and then trying to say that because of Section 171, they will not respect the EFCC Act, when that act is not contrary or in confrontation, inconsistent with the Constitution. It is only complementary.
Mr. Anumudu, we have to thank you so much. It's such a shame that we do not have time to, delve into that face-off, or perceived face-off, as it were, between the executive and legislature. But we thank you for sharing your time with us and your thoughts on Sunrise Daily. Mr. Isaac Anumudu is a legal practitioner. And that will be it from us here in Abuja. Thank you so much for watching this morning. Maokwe Ogun, here's wishing you a very productive week ahead. It's back to you, Gimba, in Lagos.
Maokwe, you do know that was a heated discussion you had with Mr. Anumudu there. We do sincerely thank you. And I'm Gimba Omar. We'll see you tomorrow.